When I first started my career, I hated writing cover letters. They're time-consuming, they're tedious, and half the time you're left wondering, is anyone even gonna read this? But here's the thing. We conducted a survey of hiring managers, and not only did 83% say they actually do read your cover letter, they said it directly impacts their decision to hire you. Think of it like this. Your resume lists everything you've done, but your cover letter is your highlights reel. It provides extra context and explains why you'd be the best candidate for the role. Fortunately, cover letters don't have to be a pain. To write a cover letter that really works, I follow this formula. In just a second, I'll explain each of these steps in detail. Before you write a single word of your cover letter, you need to know exactly what employers are looking for. And what's the best way to find out what they're looking for? That's right, it's the job description. Read the job posting carefully. Highlight the skills, the experiences, and the keywords they repeat or emphasize. They tell you exactly what an employer is looking for, and if you fit the bill, then your cover letter is exactly the place to tell them that. For example, if you're applying for a data analyst job and SQL shows up 3 times in the job ad, you know it's going to be important that those SQL skills are on your cover letter. Next up is your cover letter introduction. This is your hook, and I'll be honest, most people don't do a good job of opening their cover letters. A good opener does 3 things. It shows your enthusiasm, hints at your biggest strength, and immediately connects you to the role. There are 2 things you want to remember here. The first is don't be bland. A lot of people start their cover letters with, "I'm writing to apply for XYZ." Don't do that, it's boring. However, the second thing to remember is that a lot of people overcorrect for blandness by trying too hard to stand out. Employers aren't looking for your quirky personal anecdotes. However, I will admit that this isn't a hard and fast rule. Some employers might appreciate a unique cover letter, but it's important to get a really good gauge on the company culture before you take that risk. For example, here's an introduction that I've used that I think works well. As a marketing specialist who's grown social media audiences by over 200% in a single year, I was thrilled to see your opening for yada yada yada. Remember, you've got one chance to make them want to continue reading. Once you have an employer's attention, it's time to show them what you're worth. Pick the 2 or 3 accomplishments that matter most for this job and make them specific. For example, increased annual sales by $400,000 is way more powerful than responsible for sales. Think of this section as your proof. You're backing up the enthusiasm from your introduction with real, measurable results. Next up, you're going to connect your skills to their needs. Here's where most people go wrong. They keep talking about themselves. Instead, flip the perspective to talk about the company. Show them you've done your research by talking about how your skills align with their business. For example, your recent expansion into e-commerce aligns perfectly with my 5 years of experience launching online retail campaigns that generated a 50% increase in revenue. A little hard number there. You're making it crystal clear that you understand their goals and you're the person who can help them achieve them. Finally, you want to close your cover letter with confidence. Think of your cover letter's closing as a firm handshake before you walk out the door. This is where you want to restate your interest in the position and nail down an interview. First, thank the hiring manager for their time. Then, emphasize your interest in the role and your eagerness to discuss the position further. For example, thank you for your time and consideration. I'd welcome the opportunity to discuss how my skills can contribute to your team's success. Simple, confident, to the point. Notice what's not in this example. Phrases like, "if you have time," or "I hope you'll consider me." These phrases often come across as wishy-washy. If you want to go the extra mile, add a call to action at the end of your conclusion. Something like, "I look forward to connecting this week and learning more about this opportunity." This gently hits home that you're invested in the job and willing to follow up. And if you want to make a cover letter even faster, we have a cover letter generator tool that can help you do just that. Check out our video on how to use it right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.